Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Goldberg for the Sales Pro Network. It is Friday, July 9th, 2021. And for some strange reason, I'm wearing a dress shirt. I actually have no idea why I put a dress shirt on for you guys today. Normally, I'm in a t-shirt or a polo shirt. But our guest today, if she shows up, and I think she's trying to log in right now, hopefully she'll join us in a minute, is a fitness expert. And I guess I wanted to look good for her. I'm not sure. I'm hoping this does not mean that I have to put on a suit anytime soon, because I'm pretty sure I won't fit into any of my suits, and I just don't like wearing suits anyways. But for today, I'm dressed up for you guys. Anyways, I founded the Sales Pro Network to elevate the profession of sales. It's a place where salespeople can come and express their challenges and get coached. It's a place where they can ask questions, get their questions answered, they can get motivated, they can complain. And every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do a live interview with somebody who can add value to the profession of sales. And here's our guest now. It's my pleasure to introduce you to my new friend, health coach and boss babe, Karissa Adkins. Good morning, Karissa.
Hello. How are you, Jeff?
Karissa, I think you're muted.
Boop.
Nope.
Got it?
No, it was my volume. You're just doing fine. Good morning, Karissa. I'm glad to be with you.
How are you?
I'm absolutely outstanding. For those of you who are watching live, please say a hello. If you haven't connected your Facebook to StreamYard, I won't know it's you. So if you didn't do that, please say hello. It's me, and that way we'll know who it is. And if you have any questions while I'm speaking with Karissa, please ask them. I know she'd love to answer them for you. So, let's see. Good morning from Aruba. Wow, that's exciting. I'm not sure who that is. Who are you? Who's in Aruba? I want to know that. Good morning down in Texas, Fran Cole-Hebler. Good morning up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Stephen Feswick. Good to see you. And where are you coming from, Karissa?
I am currently in New Mexico.
New Mexico, as opposed to Old Mexico. All right, so let's get started. Would you please take just a couple of minutes and tell everybody how you got to be what you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, Jeff. I am an international speaker, personal trainer, 2-time best-selling author, health coach, and I love helping women boss up and get healthy. Now, that is not, of course, where my journey started. It actually started about 11 years ago when I weighed 213 pounds, when I hated my life, when I was depressed, when I was sad, when I was ashamed of my body. That is where my real life, I think, really started, if you want to say. So really quickly, what me and my team do is we help women boss up, get healthy, create lifestyle habit changes so that whatever it is that they're doing, if they can lose 10 pounds with me, they will be able to sustain that, if not go 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds down the road. So I don't believe in dieting. I can't stand excessive cardio. So I am literally all about helping women create those healthy lifestyle habits. So do you want me to just kind of tell you a little bit about how I got to even being a coach?
I do, but I just have to mention to you that before you came on, I was telling everybody that I just started losing weight, and I put on a dress shirt for you today. I don't know why, but I'm down 7.5 pounds since Tuesday by just cutting out sugar, because I'm Jeff, and I'm a sugarholic. I just every night from dinner time till bedtime, and I mean till the time I close my eyes, there was some kind of candy in my mouth. And I'd love to hear. We'll certainly explore why you don't like dieting. And please do tell us how you became a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you like the 2-minute version because, as you know, like that's 11 years span. So I had a rock bottom moment that literally rocked my life. It changed my life forever. I'm sitting in a doctor's office, and the doctor looks at me and she says, "Karissa, you're 5 foot tall, you're 213 pounds. If you don't change your life today, you might not be around for that little girl." And my daughter was about 2.5 years old, playing and, with her toys there. And that kind of hit me. And I'll be honest, Jeff, I was pissed. I was upset. I was embarrassed. I was like, who is this woman to be so honest with me and be so real? Like, how dare she, right? Like, how dare someone actually be honest with someone? We're so used to people sugarcoating, what we want to see see in our life. And that wasn't the rock bottom. That was like the, oh snap, like moment. But the real rock bottom, the aha, came the next day. I was sitting on a couch and I looked at a picture of my mom, feeling sorry for myself, still playing the victim of like, woe is me. And I'm fat and I hate my life. And I looked over at a picture of my mom. And for the first time in my entire life, I saw just how heavy she was, right? I saw 320 pounds. I saw cancer. I saw diabetes. I saw the lack of energy. I saw her, like, she's always an entrepreneur, but I saw her give every bit of herself to everybody else except for her. And for the first time, I saw all that, but I also saw myself in her. And I was like, whoa. If I don't do something, that doctor was right. I'm going to be her in 15 years fighting for my life and going through surgeries and all that kind of jazz. So I was like, I don't want that. That was the moment that I literally, like, I stood up like from the couch and I was like, you are better than this. You're going to boss up. You're going to reclaim your best life. Like, you are going to do it. And then, and we can get into the strategies later, but long story short, we moved back from Germany, happened to lose my mom because I thought I was going to go right into the business with her, buried her that very first week we moved back. And that, again, I took that pain of losing my mom, my best friend, my business partner. And I took that and I allowed that to motivate me throughout the next couple of years to really shed that weight. So as the community was watching me, because of course I dived in, I got into a gym, I found classes, I found a sense of community and purpose, and I was helping other people on the side. So helping women, men lose weight on the side. Like, it was a passion of mine. Like, I was like, do you need help with food prep? Cool. I'll meet you in your kitchen and I'll teach you my strategies and I'll help you in the gym if you need it. And I'm your biggest cheerleader. And all while working a corporate job. I just loved it, right? Because I find that when you are so focused, even in business, when you are so focused on what it is that you want, you become like hyper focused on it and it becomes an addiction, right? Growing a business, you're a strong relationship, anything that you're really, really excited about, you just dive 100% into. And so while being in the corporate world, that community just saw this, all of a sudden, this fit professional, right? Go from like, meh, to holy hell, like she's on top of the world. She's growing this business. They're tripling their business, like they're, the monthly business, the income. And all of a sudden I realized that I had a gift and that I had a passion. And through a coaching call, I was talking to my coach and I was like, I love what I do, and marketing is easy and HR is easy and building business is easy, but I can't go anymore. Like, I am tapped out, hit the ceiling, not going to go it unless I want to own this business, which I didn't. And so I was like, yeah, I got to find something. And she said, well, what do you love to do? And I was like, well, I really love helping these women lose the weight and get their life back, because there's something that you just can't buy at a store in a bottle, right? And that's happiness. And that's what I was doing with these women, Jeff. And that was the moment I was like, holy crap, I think I found my passion. I found my purpose. And I just dove right into coaching.
Got it. So, something you said a moment ago really struck me. And before I bring that up, hey, Fran Cole-Hebler, you said there was feedback. I changed a setting. Please let me know in the comments if it got any better. And good morning, Steve Kent. You mentioned you were at, I think, 213, which is where I was a few days ago. And I'm 5'8", not that tall, but I can't imagine 5 feet being that. But you said your mom was over 300. And the thing for me, oh, thank you, Fran. She said the feedback's better. The thing for me is I find weight gain to be insidious. You don't gain 100 pounds at a time. It's a pound here and it's 2 pounds there. And it's like, all right, I'm still okay. And then suddenly it's like, holy crap, I'm 30 pounds overweight. My pants don't fit and blah, blah, blah. And, how do you avoid that little creep that keeps happening?
Well, I think, that scenario is very real for everyone. Everyone I meet, they're like, I don't know what happened. And I'm like, I do. You let the busyness of life, your business, your career, your family, everyone else got you, and you forgot to take care of you. And so the simple solution is to build the lifestyle of habit. I mean, I'm the queen of habits, Jeff. Look, I'm always going to be talking about habits today, but it's build that health, that portion of that's, the health that you need, the food, the exercise, the self-care, the meditation, whatever that looks like for you, build that into your routine, build your life around that. And I promise you, you will never find another pound creeping up. Literally, the minute I threw my fat girl clothes away, because I felt so confident that I was like, yes, what I have built, what I have programmed my life to look like now, I'm never going to gain another single pound back. And it's so cool. I love watching Facebook saying, like 3 years ago, this is what you were doing. And I'm like, yep, still in better shape than I am. I'm in better shape now than I was then. And so it's cool. Build a life full of healthy habits.
So what were your biggest challenges in losing weight? And really, you didn't just lose weight, you got healthy.
Yeah, I literally got fit in every way possible, mentally, physically, emotionally, because it's not just about the number of the scale. So many women, when I ask them, I'm like, well, what does health look like? And they're like, well, thin. And I'm like, okay, but thin doesn't still buy happiness. I mean, I was 125 pounds, wasted away, little muscle on my body, thought that would be my happy zone, and it wasn't, right? But the biggest challenges, honestly, that I faced was my own expectations. This idea of, I'm going to lose this weight so fast and I'm going to get there real quick. And it doesn't work like that. I love always telling people, I'm like, your body isn't Amazon. You cannot order it and 2 days later get what it is you wanted. Of course, the bigger you are when you start, if you go balls deep, you're going to lose weight, right? That's why diets kind of work really quickly, is because it's super intense. It's very restrictive. People who just hire a trainer for the first time, they've never moved their body in their life, So of course they can expect results very quickly. But it's after that phase wears off, like any marriage or anything like that, it kind of fades and you're like, whoa, what's happening? Why am I not losing this weight? I want it now. And society has built us like that. I think that that's the culture we live in. And so expectations, I had to check those real fast. I was like, the first 20, 30 pounds was quick. And then the rest took, time to build. And then I think the biggest thing was that I was so focused on the outcome, I just want to be skinny, right? Instead of really enjoying the process. So now as a coach that teaches the process, I'm like, it's really made me have to go back and think, what were my keys to my success? You know what I mean? Who did I become was so more important than the outcome at 125. I mean, it really was. It's who I developed in that I absolutely love.
Wow. So you just said something that struck me. You enjoy the process. So I'm struggling with that as we're speaking, because I'm giving up things I love to eat in order to have the body that I want to have.
Right.
And I'm not sure how to enjoy that. I mean, I love a big plate of Chinese food with a lot of rice. Rice is not good for what I'm trying to do. So how do I mean, I'm still liking what I'm eating, but it's just not the same. So how do you enjoy that process while you're really depriving yourself of the things that you think you really want, at least?
Right.
I mean, I'm aware, I really am a sugar addict, and I know that sugar is a killer.
Yeah.
But so how do you enjoy that giving up that stuff that you really want?
Well, I think you have to shift two things. First, your identity, your mindset plays a huge role, right? If you look for everything you have to get rid of, it's going to be crappy the whole way. It doesn't matter. We all love that big plate of Chinese, the pizza, the tacos. And that's what I love about intuitive eating. Is I literally get to eat all that and still have my sexy six pack at the end of the day. But I think it's that two shifter. It's, I get to eat this instead, right? Comes so much easier. I get to work out daily because, and then you always tie it to a feeling, right? So you get to eliminate the sugar out of your body. And what you really get is health and energy back, and that trimmer line. But all of that comes to say you get confidence, which means more sales, more everything, right? When you are feeling at the top of your game, when you've got energy galore, that's magnetic. Right. And that's what I get clients to shift and focus on. I'm like, we want to focus on what we get and what we want, not what we don't get. And not what we feel like we have to give up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So can you speak a little bit about self-sabotage? And the reason I'm asking those yo-yo people, I've actually given up sugar before. I lost weight, felt so much better, way more mentally clear, way more energy. And again, in city, slowly but surely, it's almost like I get cocky. It's like, okay, I'm feeling great. I guess I can have a Baby Ruth bar. And not just self-sabotage, but is it okay to occasionally have a Baby Ruth bar when you're at your right size, as long as you don't eat 10 of them every day?
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. You just nailed it, right? Like I call it the 80-20 rule, and I learned it in marketing, however, in business, but I turn that rule into everything because it's like, if it works here, it's got to work over here. So 80-20 rule, have the freaking Baby Ruth, right? Like, because if not, you're going to be thinking about it and you're going to be obsessing about it. And then when you start stressing about it, now your body's actually like, the minute you're in stress mode, it's not digesting, it's not sending chemicals where it needs to go. It's not, like keeping you healthy. Your body is literally just fighting that stress. And so it stops fat, like melting the fat, everything. So stress is actually super, like, we don't want it when we're trying to lose weight. But yes, I always say that intuitive eating, like enjoy it, but enjoy it in moderation, like anything. Now, of course, at first it's going to feel like you're just taking everything out, but eventually, yeah, like okay, great example, right? Old Karissa would have had the 12 pack of tacos from Taco Bell. Okay. I'd be like, oh, it's more for your money. It's better bang for your buck. All the excuses and stories to like justify why I'm eating 12 tacos from Taco Bell. Okay. Now it's like, I need to, right? Like really realistically. And it's because I've learned, to listen to my body. I eat for energy, not fullness. But I want to go back to self-sabotage because that's a great one. I find that it's a deeper rooted issue when we are constantly self-sabotaging and we don't know it, right? It's a subconscious thing. So something in your body is like, it wants to keep you comfortable. And if comfortable is eating the things that you like, or, not working out, like carrying the weight. I see that all the time. Women will lose it. And then all of a sudden they go backwards and they're like, what's happening? And I'm like, something in your deep rooted belief doesn't believe that you are worth having these results and loving life. I see it with money too. So it's a big thing, but I'm going to say, Jeff, if you want the candy bar, like have the bite of candy bar, and if you got to like cut it into fours and say, okay, this is Monday night's candy bar. This is Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Sugar is a huge addiction for people. And
as you and Fran said, everything in moderation. That self-sabotage thing is a bitch because, I've gotten down to what I call the right size for me. And by the way, I don't care about the number. I really don't care what the number says on the scale. It's how I want to feel and look. But you do all this work to get there, and then it's like, how do you give that up? It's so easy. What's the no BS rule?
Well, people either love me or you hate me for it. So I live by that rule. It's on my website. It's no BS, meaning the minute you start making excuses for yourself, I'm always telling people, I'm like, is that fact or crap? Like, is that BS? Because when you can stop and like reframe, like, you're right, Karissa, like that is an excuse that I'm making it, like time, money, resources. That's all crap. That's all BS. Because I think if you want something bad enough, you will make it happen. You will make it happen. If your phone dropped in the toilet because you had a crazy night last night and you didn't have an extra $1,200 to go buy one, you would find money to buy one, right? It's a cell phone. We feel like we need to have it. Yet so many people are like, oh, I can't spend that kind of money on a coach. And I'm like, why not? Like, it's just, you don't want it bad enough yet. It's kind of like you got to hit that rock bottom before you're actually willing to make the lifestyle changes needed. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a doctor's visit or medication they're going to throw you on, or diabetes or something crazy. But health is like financials. I like to think like you have to do the little things every day, every month in order to retire healthy and to live your best life when you do retire. Because it takes, just like money, like my CPA or my advisor's always like, I need that money, Chris. It's the first, send me your money. And I'm like, okay. But it's for the long term. It's long-term goal.
Got it. Rich A says it's not about a diet. It's about a new way of eating. And as a result, your tastes actually change over time. And I'm not sure if you actually know this gentleman, but the pool says, hi, Karissa.
Hello, I don't.
I heard you say it's not about diet and exercise. So I like to read and research stuff, and I'm always looking for that magic pill in the bottle to make it easy, because I am absolutely I want it now, not 3 months from now, not 6 months from now, Guy. But I've been looking into fasting, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. And for those of you who don't know, fasting is a way that some people claim they can lose a heck of a lot of weight by only eating at a prescribed period of time. Usually, I think it's about 6 or 8 hours, and the rest of the time you're not eating anything. I guess that puts your body into weight loss mode. So I'd like to know your thoughts about that. And if you're a fan of that, how does that equate to, should you be eating a breakfast? How important is breakfast?
So I personally am not a fan of fasting or keto or anything that like restricts again, because it feels bad. Like I feel like if I've got to starve myself till 6 o'clock at night, I don't want that. But I will say this, right? Because I have clients that are doing fabulous and they're fasters, right? They're on keto diets, they're paleo, because we know that works for them. And that's the key, is we got to find what works for you. It's not what works for me, right? For me, I eat 7 times a day, right? Like I love food. Do not take it away from me, or I will be like a child rebelling against everybody. So I think if it works for you, then do it, right? The hardest part is if your goal is to just melt fat, great, right? If it works again for you, do it. But if your goal is to melt fat and gain muscle so that we have definition and tone, might not work for you. I have a client, she loves fasting. She's predominantly working with me for personal training and mindset coaching and some other things, but because she loves fasting, it just works for her. But I gave her macros, and I'm like, good luck getting them in your 4-hour window. And she's like, holy crap, I'll be eating for 4 hours straight. And I'm like, if you want the muscle definition, you're going to have to eat for muscle definition. So different strategies for different goals, of course. But yeah, I mean, fasting works for a lot of people. Doesn't work for me. May work for you, Jeff. And I would support you 100% if that's where you wanted to go. No,
I'm not. I actually pretty much follow what's called bright line eating. I don't know if you've ever studied that, but it's no sugar, no flour. Weigh your meals to make sure you're not eating too much, and plan them out, and only eat what you say you're going to eat. You're actually supposed to write it down the night before, exactly what you're going to eat the next day, and only eat that. No snacking in between. It's pretty rigid, but I did lose a bunch of weight fairly quickly the last time I did it.
Yeah.
I'm not being as rigid with it this time, but no sugar, no flour. I think I'm pretty sure I can do that, and should be healthier. And I'm hoping to lose some weight fairly quickly. Oh, here's more from Rich. Let's see what he has to say. I dropped 30 pounds just by changing my diet. No exercise. Eliminated the enemies, carbs, sweets, red meat, and embraced the friend. Vegetables, chicken, fish, fruit. It works. Gotcha, Rich. Beautiful. What's the 1% rule?
I love the 1% rule. In fact, my business 365, when I was naming it, my daughter and I were sitting there, and I was like 24/7, like, I love the word hustle, because hustle is just hard work for me. If you want a life of balance and freedom, you got to work hard for it. If you want, a sexy body, got to work hard for it. So hustle, to me, that's what that means. But so we were trying to sit and think about a cool, unique name. As someone in marketing, I'm always like, it's got to be catchy. It's got to be like easy to design a logo. So all these things, I was thinking way too far in advance. But she said, Mom, 365. It's about, you work out daily, right? You eat clean daily, like you strive daily. And this is coming at the time from like a 9-year-old, right? For my 9-year-old to be like, I'm like, holy heck, I've done something right here. So personally, the 1% rule, I live by just 1% better. So dieting, losing weight, being healthy, right? It doesn't have to be extreme. It shouldn't be stressful, and it shouldn't be hard. People tend to overcomplicate everything that we want to do. So it's like, just keep things simple, stupid simple, 1%, right? If 1% is just cutting back one soda every day until it's eventually gone, amazing, right? 1%. I'm going to drink more water. 1%. I'm going to exercise just one time this week. If you're not used to exercising, don't go too fast, too quickly. You hit burnout. I'm telling you, it happens. I see it every single time. So follow the 1% rule. And I feel like you'll never go wrong. You're never going to feel like a failure if you've literally woken up every day thinking just 1% better, because 365 days later, 1% every day, holy crap, you are going to be on top of the world. Unstoppable.
Got it. And speaking of exercise, I know you're incredibly fit, and aren't you involved in some kind of a contest right now?
I am actually, yes. So 3 months ago, I applied to be in a competition for Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine. I'm competing for the cover of that magazine, the title, and $20,000. And I'll be honest, I filled out this application, Jeff, and I was like, who am I? I am not a fitness pro. I don't have a cool card. I don't compete. I don't have a shiny, bright bikini, right? Like I am just a mom that is out helping, trying to help other moms do the same thing and just live their best life. But I thought, why not me, right? I am a boss. This is what I do. This is my purpose. This is what I speak on. This is what I write about in my books. So why not me? I just found out I made top 5 in my group, like last night at midnight. They make the cut. So they put all of us into groups of like 20, 25 women. Thank you, Katie. They put us all into groups, and we've been competing for 4 weeks, and it's based on votes and votes alone. So it's kind of like a popularity contest. It's kind of sad, but I do love it, right? Because I'm competitive. But every round I move advanced. So this week, actually, I have to be number 1 within 7 days, or I won't make it to the semifinals. And so if you are listening, I would love a vote. Of course, you can vote daily. It's free, or you can do a warrior vote and help a Wounded Warrior Project and help me at the same time. So yeah, it's an honor to be, these other women are like beastie. So they are inspiring me. So I'm like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So I'm going to do it. So yeah, I've been manifesting this for a while.
That's great. I hope after the interview, you'll go onto Facebook and just drop the link in there so people can know where to vote. That'd be great. And if you do win, does that mean we'll get to see all 5 feet of you in a shiny bikini?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll actually probably see me in some gym with chalk and looking like a total beast. Abs popping, veins popping. But the cool thing I really want to talk about, Jeff, because it's more important than the win, right? Because the title, that's going to go away. The cover will eventually be on someone's vision board, right? Like 10 years from now. But what's more important is what I'm going to do with the 20K, because a lot of the competitors, right, they're going to use it to benefit them. And of course, I'm going to buy myself some cute outfits like any woman would do, maybe a new pair of shoes. But I want to give back to a nonprofit that's super important to me. It's called Fit Girl Inc. And the mission of Fit Girl Inc. is to help girls ages 8 to 18, empower them to have more confidence, to live healthier lives, to show them what it looks like to eat clean and exercise and just get involved and pretty much it's like be a good friend, right? Like be a good person in life. And so I can't wait. I want to be able to donate $3,000 to this organization. It's just the one of the nonprofits that I'm given to, but that's the biggest one. And that's more important because as a coach that coaches women, a lot of us women have bad habits and lifestyles because of the childhood we grew up in. And I'm like, if I could stop these, ages, I think I read 3 to 18 in kids, 18% are considered obese. I might be off on that one, but the obesity rate for kids is just insane. And I want to change that. Like I want to break, this pandemic of obesity. It's crazy. So that is way more important. And I want every woman who opens up that article and reads, holy cow, if she can do from 213 to 1, like I can do it, right? I just want to inspire hope. I want to empower women to become our best self.
Gotcha. Now I know you work with women, but am I correct that the same things you share with people would work for men too? Yes.
Oh God, yeah. What works for a male will work for a female and vice versa. Our bodies are definitely different. If I train a male in the gym, it's definitely different than training a female. But at the end of the day, the stuff that I preach and the Kool-Aid I drink, Jeff, works for anybody, 100%.
Okay. But you're looking to turn women into boss babes, and it sounds like your 9-year-old already is. What is a boss babe? How do you define boss babe? Because I love that phrase.
To me, boss up, boss babe means owning your life. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, right? You don't have to. I just want you to be the CEO. I want you making decisions that are for your best interest. So I'm the boss up babe. I have my radio show, Boss Up Babe Radio. Like I love featuring people's stories. And I think that that's so important, because I feel like if you can hear me talk about my struggles, it can give you some light. So bossing up is a habit. It's become a habit for me. I'm like, ooh, that seems kind of scary. Like, that's outside my comfort zone. And then I'm like, boss up, Karissa. So that's what it means. It's the girl version of like, put your big girl pants on and do it.
Got it. You've got a bunch of people saying congratulations, and here's Steve asking to please do send the link to vote. So please be sure to do that later. You just mentioned getting outside the comfort zone. You believe that mompreneurs and the women you work with, I guess anybody can boss up and change their life, but they do have to do some things in order to do that. And one of them is getting outside your comfort zone. What else is involved?
Being willing to take risks and fail, right? Like, not see failure as a setback, but as a learning lesson that really is huge for me. I preach it all day long. I have a talk that's called, how to build resilience. And it is all about those lessons in failure. So I think owning your best life, a couple of things, it takes responsibility. You have to stop making those excuses for yourself. Stop playing the victim, because that's easy. That is easy to do. But the life that I'm living now is so much more vibrant. I like to think it's like in high definition, right? Considered like VHS, like that's how I was living. And like, you can see my goosebumps right now is how just clear and focused I have. But I think you have to own, you have to own that. You have to take responsibility. And you have to look back at everything that you've gone through and know that it's the growth is going to happen no matter what. If it's a good thing, cool. If it's a bad thing, you're going to learn so much more. It's probably the biggest thing is learning from your lessons and not doing them again, right? That's insanity. It's just doing that same thing, like trying the same diet over and over every year and then never, like changing it. So yeah, it's learn from your lessons. I would say, Jeff, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and it's great to listen to someone like you who's actually been there. I was pretty stunned because I only know you like this. And when I went to your website and saw what you used to look like, you were beautiful, but you were definitely a bit larger.
Yes.
There was a lot more Karissa, and it's just amazing to see the transformation. And that's the kind of person I want to learn from, somebody who's been there and done that, not just somebody who says, oh, I think I can write a book on this or become an expert on that. So you help people, you help women not just lose weight, but get healthy. And, this group is really for salespeople. What is, I guess this might be a little bit of a stupid question, but what does your health have to do with your business or sales?
I don't think I would be where I'm at today had I not had that. Because I want to go back. It's not about the number and it's not about my physical body anymore. It's the energy and the confidence I have. So when I was in marketing, my job was to build relationships. I was a professional smoozer, right? I'm like, here, let me buy you a drink and take you out. But at the end of the day, I had a sense of confidence that just exudes, right? I walked into a networking meeting and people stopped and turned. They were like, I need to know her. And what does she do? And what does she stand for? And I think that confidence is the biggest thing. So many men and women want to feel confident in themselves. And if you go into a sales call with like I'm not quite sure what I'm selling and I don't even believe in myself and I had a bad day today and what, it's going to show. It's going to show. I've even felt that, man, when I was bossing up, going from like $1,000 program to $2,500, to 5K, like you feel that like sense of uncomfortableness, even a confident woman like me. But all it takes is like a pep talk, right? Which is from a confident woman. Like, you got it, girl. You're going to do this. You're going to rock it. And then you go in and you do it and you own it. And that has closed more sales. My confidence, I feel, that has allowed me to grow a business from like nothing to something. It's that sense of like, I know who I am, and people, like, that's attractive. Like, you can sell anything to anybody if you have that confidence level. And you could start a business if you're like, I can do this, right? Just yesterday, I asked my husband to take it back to fitness. I have a client who is just super rigid in the gym, right? Super robotic. And I'm like, how can I help her get her form? Like, she needs to just be fluid, right? Easy. And he goes, I think it all goes back to confidence. You walk into that gym, that's your playground. So like, I just walk around, I'm like, hey, whatever. And I'm just moving. She does not feel that yet. And so even once she starts to feel more confident in the gym, she's going to start to own that area. And eventually it's going to, affect affect her mindset. And then everyone in her life is going to be affected by her confidence that she is building one rep at a time. So I think that's confidence is huge. And I think that it goes directly into sales, it goes directly 100% all day long.
It absolutely does. And I think it's important to make a distinction that confidence does not necessarily mean we have to be Karissa. Because look, you're explosive and you're energetic and you're high energy and blah, blah, blah. I am too. That's just the way I'm wired up. Yeah. But you can be confident without being over the top.
Sure.
I'm not accusing you of something. I love your over the topness. I love high energy. But there's a quiet confidence that you can have when you carry yourself, when you know your stuff. And what you said a moment ago is so true, that people will sense when you're trying to sell them something, whether you are confident in yourself and what you're offering them and the price, or they will also sense it when you're not. I had a conversation with somebody recently who was trying to sell me something, and I was very interested in it. And as a sales coach, not a life coach, a health coach like you, but as a sales coach, when somebody's trying to sell me something, I'm in two places at the same time. Yes. I'm listening to what they're trying to sell me so I can evaluate, do I want it or not? But I'm also listening to how are they selling me? And I'm evaluating this guy the whole time, and he's doing an amazing job. I'm just going, wow, this guy's good. I really like what he's doing. Yes, that's exactly what I would be doing right now. And then we got to the end, and he was about to give me the price, and he hesitated, and he got a little like that, and he was almost sheepish, and he blew the whole thing right there. And I actually asked, I said, would you mind if I give you some free coaching? Because, unsolicited advice is rarely welcome, but I can't resist. And he said, sure. I said, man, you just blew it. You blew it at the very end. You had me up until you did it with the price, because I promise you right now, I know for a fact, you are not confident in your price. You think you charge too much. Wow, how'd you know that? I said, you fumbled.
Yeah.
You blew it at the end. So having that confidence, and again, it doesn't have to be over the top, but just the quiet confidence works too. I think it's also
pause in confidence in the pause, right? As a selling tactic. I have to write on, when I first started on my sales scripts, it was like the biggest pause, take a breath, Karissa, and let them be uncomfortable, because I'm like, I just spit out the biggest number I've ever spit out in my life when I was, up leveling. And I'm like, I had to put a Post-it on my thing on the top of my, like my form. I put 5K. Like I had this number that I was just going to just spit it out. And then over time it gets easier and easier. But yes, it's funny. You wear the double hat too. Isn't that funny? It's hard to like step out of being the coach and just being in the moment. But I'm glad you were able to give him some tips.
Absolutely. Look, I'm constant. Look, as a coach, what I do, I'm constantly listening to every word that people say, because I believe that one word can make the difference between closing a deal and not, as well as the attitude and the confidence and all that stuff. Now, you mentioned this before, habits, and you're called the habit queen. Why is that?
Because I literally eat, breathe, and sleep by my habits and my rituals. And I notice this when I go on vacation, because, of course, you're not in your normal element. Even when I go and do like a speaking conference, you're not in your normal home, your gym. And so it really shakes me up when I'm like, oh, I don't like this, But yeah, I teach clients how to build habits, from when they wake up to a spiritual power hour, to how can we even switch your time blocking schedule around so that you're more, do your sales calls when you have lots of energy and not at 4 o'clock at the end of the day to me. But so it's always about like switching things up so that it benefits you. But at the end of the day, I teach clients how to build a lifestyle of habits that are benefiting them, whether it doesn't matter what it is. I literally, I am a robot when it comes to habits and rituals. And I believe it through my rituals and my structure, I have freedom. I don't have to think about hardly anything, right? Like me laying out this outfit for today, like I woke up 10 minutes later, I'm at the gym. I don't have to think about it. It's an autopilot thing. And so, yeah, I'm the habit queen. I actually just did a podcast interview on a podcast called The Habit Queen. And she literally was like, okay, I give you my crown, you beat me. And I'm like, it's not about that. But yeah, it was funny for her to interact like that.
So what are some of the habits that you have in your routine that have led you to be this huge success? And while you're answering that one, you mentioned before, I think that you eat 7 times a day. Is that right?
Roughly, yeah.
And is it the same exact time every day? Because I know I struggle, especially with dinner. I'm pretty sure I know that Actually, I shouldn't even equivocate. I shouldn't be eating dinner at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and then going to bed an hour later. It should be closer to probably 6 or 5 o'clock. So how important is it to eat at the same time every day? And is that what you do?
I'm pretty structured, yeah, because again, my mornings, everything in my day starts the exact same. So the days that I don't eat those 7 meals, or the days that I don't do, certain routines or rituals, is because like I've slept until like 6 or something. So my day is shortened by like 2 hours. So I'm like, I'm not going to get it in, but I don't necessarily go against quantity. Like I need to eat 7 times a day. I focus on my macros. So I'm like, as long as I get my 190 grams of protein today, I don't care when you get it in, because that's the goals I'm going for. But to give you some examples, Jeff, is every single morning, except for Saturday and Sunday, I'm up at 3:45. I'm at the gym by 4:30. I'm done by 6:30. Takes me 6 minutes to get home. I get home, I wake up my daughter, she starts getting ready. I'm eating drinking my first shake while I'm getting ready. So everything is just built through routine. Every day at 9 a.m., typically, unless I'm speaking or doing something work related, like a speaking event, or I don't coach around this time either, but every morning I do my spiritual practice, whether that's reading, that's thinking time, that's journaling, that's meditating, that's creative visualization. So all those things they're set in my schedule. They are non-negotiables. Every Wednesday, I'm planning my meals for next week. Every Sunday, I'm prepping my meals for that week. Every Saturday, I'm planning my workouts. Like literally every workout is written down before I even go to the gym. Every Friday, I leave work and I look to my right because it's my focus board. Every Friday at 4 o'clock when I'm checking out, my end of day ritual is to write out what I'm doing next week, right? Like with the calls I have, I'm just very structured like that. Every day at 5 o'clock when I'm done working, I go to that board and I post I call it a hell yes weekly win. It's a daily win because I'm so focused on the positive. So I'm like, what happens a day? What, that I can really focus in on instead of negative. That's been a huge key to my success on staying positive and always looking for something good, whether it's a client, testimony, whether it's I changed someone's life today, whether it was like, you know what? I made it through this whole meeting without spilling coffee because I talk with my hands a lot. So you just never know, like whatever makes you happy goes on my board. So to say that I'm like just super, it's small. Yeah, it's very structured. My life is, but again, it's freedom. I don't work. I have boundaries and I drink the Kool-Aid I preach, So yeah. And to answer,
and it shows.
Yeah, I want to go back really quick. Here's the coach in me. You said I shouldn't be eating a full dinner at 9 p.m. or whenever I go to bed. Who told you that?
I thought I've read stuff that says it's not good to eat and then go to bed.
Yeah. I mean, there's truth to it. I always hear the words, I should be doing, I could be doing more, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we should all over ourselves, right?
Yeah, we do. But, just to kind of bust that myth, yes, you don't want to it's what you eat right before bed is really the bigger thing. Like my last meal for the day is casein, protein, and 3 slices of an apple because that keeps my metabolism burning through the night. So I'm literally burning calories while I sleep. And the reason why I go casein protein is because it's long lasting protein. So it's like
what kind of protein?
It's called casein. So like I of course have my own brand, like I don't have my own brand. That'd be cool. But I have a brand that I drink, but my morning protein shake is not casein protein. Like morning is, I need it in my system now because I just ripped my muscles apart. I need to get rebuilding ASAP. The end of the night protein, like that, like, oh my gosh, just get it down because I'm not even really hungry, but I need to eat different type of protein. But there's science. I can do a whole show on nutrition, but yeah. It's okay as long as it's not like the cheeseburger and French fries at 9 p.m. The tacos. I try and eat my dinner at dinner time and then my evening snack. And Jeff, if you're a sweet tooth guy, you can swap out some healthy sweet treats at night to make you feel like you're getting that craving in.
And last night I had a Honeycrisp apple instead of a candy bar.
I love rice cakes with peanut butter and a little bit of dark chocolate drizzle on it.
Each his or her own. And what was today? Was today leg day, arm day?
Today was shoulder day, my favorite day to work.
Got it. how do you balance out? I mean, you're very successful. You have a coaching business. You're a speaker. You're traveling. You're on stages. You're a mom. You're a wife. How do you balance all of that and still have time to be healthy and fit? That's a lot of work.
Well, it goes back to my priorities. I know my priorities and I know what it feels like to be unhealthy. And when I was unhealthy, guess what? I wasn't a great mom. I, felt crappy about myself. I wasn't very social because I was like, I don't even want to be social right now. And so I think it comes down to a couple of things. I know my priorities. And those are my 5. And I have 5 priorities for my health and 5 priorities for my business. And I think it's important to kind of, establish, because I'm a thinker. So I'm like, well, in my business, there's 5 priorities, right? Like sales calls, marketing, there's 5 things I want to do. Chocolate rice. Yeah. Woo-hoo. Even the caramel rice cakes are pretty good. I go with plain salted, but yeah. Anyways, the priorities, huge. So if something doesn't fit within that 5 priority, it's a no. It's a heck no, actually. If you're like, hey, can we have a networking meeting at 7 a.m.? I'd be like, sorry, my workout's at that time. I can't, that wouldn't work for me. So which kind of goes into boundaries. You got to set some boundaries. This whole work from home thing, it's easy to work all night long, especially when you love what you do. But I've given myself, I have to give myself a shut off time. I don't check email on my phone. I don't even have work email on my phone so that I'm not, at 9 o'clock at night, sitting on the toilet, checking email. Like that's what a lot of people do. And I'm like, I don't. And I limit those distractions so that I'm not tempted. So priorities and boundaries. And then obviously you knew this was coming, scheduling, time blocking. I do it.
What are your thoughts on discipline? So I've read from some supposed experts that you only have so much discipline. It's not an exhaustive supply. You've got so much. And one of the ways of eating that I've read about says, you actually should not be exercising when you're starting to eat right, because you need all your discipline for the eating right. And the reason I'm bringing this up is when I was on your website, there's a page where you have the Grand Babes Academy, and I'd like you to explain what that is. But on that page, you're sitting with a bowl of popcorn. Except I couldn't count them. It looked like there's about 60 pieces of popcorn. My bowl has, 10,000 pieces. I love popcorn beyond belief, and I'll just sit and watch TV, and I'm loving it. How do you have the discipline to do you actually count your popcorns or do you weigh them or something like that?
No. Okay. So guilty pleasure. I am not a sweet tooth fan. I am a salty fan. So popcorn, peanuts, sunflower seeds, anything like that. So discipline, yes, I would have to agree. It's kind of like willpower. You start off really good in the morning and you're like, yeah. And every decision you make, so 5, 6 o'clock at night, you want to relax. Discipline is willpower is a lot of it's gone, because you've made, so I like to think of it as like an energy bar just going. And then by 5 or 6, 7 o'clock at night, it's gone. And you're like, okay, what can I dive into now? So that is the hardest part of anyone's day, I think, is that evening right before that 3 or 4 hours before bed. So discipline is built just like anything else. I think it's through proving it to yourself, like confidence, right? I always tell, if you're working on confidence, I'm like, do one thing that scares the crap out of you every single day. And eventually you'll be like, holy crap, I can do all this. So discipline, funny is I do love gummy worms. I love them. When I travel, I get a bag of gummy worms. It's like tradition. But for 2 years, I was really cutting. I wanted to go from 19% body fat to 12 for a specific thing that I was doing. This was about 5 years ago. And I got myself a bag of gummy worms, the sour ones, because those are my favorite. And I didn't open them, but they sat in my work desk. And every day they stared at me and they were like, hey, you want me? And I'm like, no, I don't. And so I just worked on that discipline. And I literally was like, not today. Maybe tomorrow. If you really want one tomorrow, you can have one, Karissa. And then the next day, be like, you don't really want one today. You can have one tomorrow. And I just build that discipline up. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. If you guys are starting to follow me and you're like, I like this chick, you're going to notice that I eat a lot of crazy things. And I do a lot of fun stuff because I feel like if you don't have fun, you're not really living your best life. But discipline is no different. You have to find, I think, the why on why you want to change. You know, that's more important. Jeff, why do you want to give up that sugar? Because that's what you need to be thinking about instead of the sugar that you're giving, the cookie and the ice cream. It's the why. It's the feeling. It's the energy that you want instead of the short-term fix. And then over the years, I've just been able to build up that discipline, you know, and I think it's because those little tiny temptations that I'm like, not today. I'm going to get you. Not today. Not today.
Yeah. So now all I can think about is gummy worms, and that's leading me to Swedish fish. And boy, I just love all sweets. I love what you just said about do something that scares the shit out of you. Or you might have said a better word. You know, we often live in fear of the what if, and I find that when you take the risk and put yourself in that situation, you know, it was explained to me years ago that fear is kind of like the old cartoons where there's an angel and a devil on each shoulder and they're both whispering in your ear. And that with the fear, it's the appropriate thing is just turn to it and go, okay, thank you for sharing. And I'm doing this anyways. And a great example is I'm a professional speaker too. I stand on stage in front of sometimes 30 people, sometimes 2,000 people. I have zero fear. I love being on stage, except I just started taking a comedy course at Comedy College, which is going to end in getting on stage and doing stand-up comedy, something I haven't done for 28 years. I've jumped out of an airplane. Stand-up comedy is scarier because you just make it up there. But I got up on the stage, not in front of an audience, in front of the class the other day, and I was nervous. And I'm never nervous on stage, except, you know what? It's that putting yourself out there and going, what's the worst that can happen? That it really empowered me. I sat down in my seat after being up there for like 8 minutes. I'm like, all right, I can do this. I'm not sure how it's going to be when there's an audience of people who paid to see it, but you got to put yourself into those situations where you're stretching.
100%. 100%. And that's now when I can see that as a moment of growth, because I've gone through so many fearful moments that I'm like, oh, hey, I survived, you know, like, okay, it wasn't that bad. That now I'm like, ooh, if I'm feared, if I have that fear, and fear is a lot like excitement, like we sweat, right? Our blood pressure goes up, like same reactions from excitement to fear. And so I'm like, okay, if it's scary, and I'm kind of afraid to do it, that's my cue from the universe. It says, okay, go do it, right? So my biggest thing that I love, I'm going to credit her because she's brilliant, Mel Robbins, right? Like the 5-second rule has really helped me overcome so many stupid little fears. My first time going on stage in front of 900 other coaches, I was a crowd motivator a couple years ago. And I remember I'm backstage, right? And you can see the clock counting down 5, 4. And as soon as she gave me the mic and I ran on stage, my music went, the fear was gone. But it was that the waiting. I'm like, okay, this is scary now. I was like, I'm going to forget everything. And then I thought, who cares? They believed in you. You got to believe. It's harder to believe in ourselves than what people will see in us. But I love the 5-second. That's how I left corporate. I'm like, I went to the girls' locker room and I said, Karissa, in 5 seconds, you're going to go in there and you're going to do it. And that was scary, right? I mean, I was leaving a corporate salary and cushy job for something that was unknown, you know, and I just did it. And I just
Wait, what is the 5-second rule?
So Mel Robbins has this 5-second rule where you've got typically your brain in 5 seconds will talk you out of whatever it is you want to do. So you don't want to go to the gym, count down from 5 and then just do it. I literally think about that all the time. In fact, I even also use the 5-second rule of okay, you got 5 seconds to bitch about it and then you're done. So if you're my daughter all the time, right? She's like, she'll get done with a softball game. And then, I'll be like, you have 5 seconds or 5 minutes. Right. And my husband does the same thing to me now. What's great. Yeah. I'm like, he's like, coach just got coached. And I'm like, he's like, you got 5 minutes to complain about that. And then we're done. I'm like, okay.
I love when you actually do push yourself and do something that you were afraid of, because I found in my life, I'm able to use those experiences when something else comes up. And the perfect example is I mentioned a moment ago, I went skydiving once. Scary stuff. But this was, years ago. And what I found was anytime I was in a nightclub looking across the dance floor and going, oh, wow, she's beautiful. I want to ask her to dance. Nah, she's not going to want to dance with me. I was like, wait a minute, you've jumped out of an airplane. I think you can ask a woman to dance.
Yes.
So when you take those risks, you usually find out it's not as bad as you thought it was. And it's useful going forward. What's next for the Boss Up, Babe?
Well, besides the health and fitness competition, I do want to write my third book. I really want to be able to give keys and strategies to everyday living and health and nutrition, and mindset is huge. So that's kind of big, big for me. I've co-authored 2 books, both Amazon bestsellers. One went international, one went, I think, business international. So it's exciting to be co-authoring, but just like that was scary, right? Like, who am I to write a book? Like, well, and all that. And then now I'm like, I've done 2. Are you kidding me? I can do my own now. So I think within the next year, I would really love to be able to sit down with my thoughts and those key, like I've done lots of interviews now. I speak on the topics. I'm like, I just need to write down and figure out the 10 biggest keys to my success and write my own book. I think that would be really cool.
So here's the coach in me. You said you want to. Are you going to?
Oh God, yeah. It's gonna happen. I've already been talking about it for a year, so it's gonna happen for sure.
I love it. We're running out of time. Biggest keys to success?
Well, work out daily, right? Take care of yourself. Personal development is huge. I'm a huge junkie. So I love reading, and I take what I read and I try and teach it, because that's how I learn better. Then I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to work, but we're going to try this strategy. And I'm like, holy cow, it worked. Getting enough sleep is huge. It's a non-negotiable. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock, but in order to get up at 3:45, I have to be in bed by 8 o'clock. And staying.
By the way, I think you blew people's minds when you said, if I sleep in till 6 o'clock and that you're up at 3:45, I'm normally up about 4:30, just because I'm old and can't sleep anymore.
Oh no. It's fun when I was just in LA for a speaking thing, and I got up at like 6, and because I didn't set an alarm, and I'm like, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to feel good. And I did, but it's sleeping in. But getting to sleep, I can't function. I really don't sit with those people that are like, sleep for when you're dead, like push. And I'm like, how about we just relax a little bit and sleep some more? But staying positive, I mentioned that earlier. It's really big. So many people focus on the negative. And I think focusing so much on the it's a habit, right? You got to look for it. But it shields me from all the BS. I'm like, COVID didn't really affect me because I didn't let it affect me. I focused on what I could control instead of what I couldn't. And then those little shifts, 1%, right? 1%. If you want to be a better salesman, work on, just one technique for so long until it becomes super, super easy for you. So little shifts are going to be big.
Got it. So, I don't think I have a graphic to put up, but how can people reach you if they want to work with you or have questions? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, the best thing that you can do is go to my storyboard. That's my website for any of you people who are like, what's a storyboard? No, it really is a storyboard for me. It's not just like X, Y, and Z and boring website. It tells you from how I went from 213, to living my best life. It covers coaching programs. It covers speaking engagements. So if you're looking for a dynamite speaker to up-level your event, that's me. It goes from everything. You can vote for me on my website right now, Facebook. So I could send you to Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but go to 365 Daily Hustle. That's 365 DAILY Hustle HUSTLE.com. You will see my face eating popcorn because that's real, right? That's a real coach.
Yeah. And the services that you offer?
Mm-hmm. Coaching. So I have mastermind classes, of course, but I really focus I have 2 programs. Reclaim Your Best Life. Think of like that program. You have to go through that to get to Grad Babes. Reclaim is you have to set a solid foundation for your health. So I'm reteaching people how to eat and to work out who have never worked out. Like you've got to set the fundamentals for living a healthy life. And once you've graduated from that, if I feel that you could benefit from Grad Babes, we take you over there. That's a lot more in-depth personal health development. It's healing relationships. It's a lot of women don't feel that we're enough or we're worthy. And so we've got to kind of get to that root of those limiting beliefs. And so that's a little deeper program. But yeah, Reclaim coaching is where you'd start. I'm also, of course, running beta programs all the time to try and see if I can expand like any good entrepreneur. If you're not growing, you're dying, people. So you got to be trying stuff. So right now I'm looking for 5 women who want to join a health mastermind. It's a little less coaching, less intense, but exactly what people need: accountability and support.
Got it. And the website one more time?
365dailyhustle.com.
Thank you so much for sharing your time and your brilliance with us, Karissa. I love your energy. I'm so glad that I met you. I will absolutely be voting for you. I hope you will. Please be sure to come back to Facebook and put in the link so everybody can go, or Guys, you can just go to her website. And as I end all these, please remember, sales is a game of making things happen, as is having a great body, I'm assuming. Get out there and make sales happen. Thank you, Karissa, and thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.